Hello everyone, welcome to Ajiro Tech. Ajiro Tech. In this video, you're going to be learning the Cambridge International ES and A-Level Information Technology with the course code 9626 variant 02. We're doing the paper 2 practical for the ES students, October, November 2024. Um, the duration for the whole paper is 2 hours, 30 minutes. The instructions are very important, so please go through the instructions, okay? Total mark is 90. You have been supplied with the following source files. These are the files that you've been supplied with, okay? You must use the most efficient method to solve each task. All document produced must be of a professional standard and suit the business context. You work for general jury and will develop a spreadsheet to calculate the cost, take note, of making necklace chains. Note, all currency value must be in dollars to two decimal places. Okay. All weight value must be displayed to three decimal places. Open and carefully examine the file N24 chain.csv in a spreadsheet. So I'll come here. Okay. Okay, if you're wondering why you're seeing this, the video for audio editing has been done. You will see the video description. The link to that will be in this video description. Okay, so now we're going to continue. So I'm going to open it. N24 chains. So I'll just open it. At default, it's going to open in the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet package we're using is the Microsoft Excel. So take note, we're using Excel. Excel. All right, so I'll click here to select all, and okay, let me see. Okay, I think I can leave it for now. Then we'll fix it. Okay. The values in cell T3 to V3, T3 to V3 are changed frequently. Okay, so that simply means that if they change, other things should also change as well. Merge cells A1 to R1, A1 like this to R1. So I'll come here, merge cell, okay. A17 to R17, A17 to R17, okay. What again? A30 to R30, A30 to R30. Okay, all right. So this is done. Format each of these mesh cells so they contain a black each. Take note, each of these mesh cells, so whatever you have here will also replicate, will also be here as well. Okay. A black 60-point font. Black 16, bold, see that bold, center the line, sans serif font. So the font size is 16 point. So the font is sans serif. So we're using area. Okay. On a yellow background. On a yellow background. Done. So this is the weight of metal in ounces. So I'm going to do the rest here. So I'm going to, I've done this. So I'm just going to copy it here. So I'm going to use the format painter to do that. So here, click on the format painter and then do it here as well. So it has a property. Click on the format painter and then do it here. Okay. All right. Merge cell T1 to V1. T1 to V1. Okay. See merge cell. Okay. T17 to V17. T17 to V17. Merge cell. Format each of these merge cells so they contain a black 12 point. A black, yes, 12. That's the font size. Okay. Bold, center the line. Bold, center the line. Yes. Sans serif. So that's the area. And what again? What are they telling us? On a yellow background. So on a yellow background. So they said, look at what they said for each of them. So I would copy this, come here, paste it here. Okay. Okay, so they have given us all the information they need. Now they said format rows 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4, and 18 to look like this. Look what they said, and 18 as well, downwards to look like this. Okay, so what we can do here is let's take it bit by bit. So I have C here and S here. What do you notice? They are the same, right? So I have C, I have S. So whatever I adjust here, now what I did was to hold my control to select both of them, right? Click here, hold my control, click here. So I'm going to adjust it. So whatever I give here, I gave it 25. Okay, now, so that's done. Now let's work on A first. So what do you notice here in A? That this A here was what? Has a background of light gray and is bolded. Now, what do you notice here? Look at the font of all of them. Now, how do you know if it's serif or just the default one? Is the G. Look at the G here, right? And look at the G here. Look at my G here. Can you see my G here? Can you see the G here? Right? It's not the same. So you need to have an eye for detail. It's not the same. So that simply means that all of them are what? Sans serif. So I'm going to highlight it. Area. Good. This as well. Area. Okay. And this here as well. Just highlight everything here. Area. Okay. And this here. Area. Okay. All right. And I think, have I done this? No. Let me do this here. Area. Okay. So go back here. This is center. Oh, undo my work. All right. I think this applied to this, but this is area. I want to click here, highlight here, center. All right. Double click here. Okay. What about this? Length, center, and light gray, bold. I'm showing you everything, so I'm just clicking so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to see if this is the one they used or Okay. Is the lighter one. Is the lighter one. This one. Yeah. Okay. So for this has been done. For D here, metals. This is for metal. This is for style. This is for code. Okay. So it is, of course, I've made them black. So this is going to be black, and the text here is going to be white. And this is bold. This is center. And what about this? This right here is bold, and the background is light gray. Okay. They were making progress. What else? And here, now look at what they said here. Let's go back if you remember. They said all weight value must be displayed to 3 decimal places. So we have to make it 3 decimal places. So I'm going to highlight, click here to number, or come here. We can just do everything at once. Hold my control, highlight this as well. Hold my control, highlight this, number, 3 decimal places. Okay, so that has been done. So this has been done. Okay. So let me see. I've done for this. So ensure nothing is missed. I've done for this. I've done for this. I've done for this. What about this? Come here. Silver here is bolded, light gray. Is it center? Yes, it's center. This as well, ounces and grams is bolded and light gray. Okay. And what do you notice here? The cost is in what? Dollars. Why? They said all coins must be displayed in dollars to 2 decimal places. So this as well. So I'm going to do that. So highlight it, click on the number here, currency, then English United States, 2 decimal places. Okay. Just to ensure that we are not missing anything. So I think everything is done. Let me zoom in like this so I can see everything here. Let me split my work so we know that we have done everything. We're just checking to ensure that everything is okay. Okay. All right. So everything is done. It's important to always check. Of course, your physical exam, you have a physical copy, so that will not be a problem. Okay. All right. So we've done everything. So I can take it back to 100. Right? And I can take this back. All right. Change the worksheet name to something more appropriate. To something more appropriate. Save your workbook as a spreadsheet with the file name. N24 chains 1. So we need to save the worksheet to something what? More appropriate. Now look at what, let's go back. They said the cost of making what? Necklace chains. So this is what? A calculator to calculate what? The cost of what? Making necklace chains. Okay. So this can be seen as what? A cost calculator. So right click, rename, cost calculator. Okay. Okay, save your workbook as a spreadsheet with the file name N24 chain 1. So I'll copy this. File, save as. Okay. So I'm going to, okay, let me do browse. Might not have this interface. So I'll come here, paste it, and then do this AN017 2025. And look at what they said. Save your workbook as a spreadsheet. So the save as type is going to be what? Workbook. That's why. Why? Because our formulas are going to reside in it. So you don't save it as CSV. Take note. Because of the formulas. Place in cell E18. Where's E18? Okay, good. A replicable formula. So we're going to replicate to convert the weight in ounce. Convert the weight in ounce held in E5 into grams. The information in column TUV will help you. TUV. So you can see that 1 ounce is equals to 28. Let me see. Now look at what they said. Row, format row 2, 3, 4. So it looks like this. So even this one, I also, but they give us this one as 3495. So I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that. Yeah. If they would have changed it, they would have also changed it in the screenshot. So they left it. So I'm going to leave it. Right. So you can see that to convert this weight in ounce into grams, 1 ounces is equals to 28.3495. So all this is in ounces, and we need to convert it to grams. So this simply means that what you have here times what you have here into what? This will give us that in what? In grams. Okay, will give us that in what? In grams. Okay, so here will be, let me move it here, equals to what you have here times what you have here, right? I'll hit on what? Enter. Now, take note. They said, look at what they said, a replicable formula. So if we're going to replicate this, we're going to have errors. Why? Because we're multiplying every of these with this. So this has to be constant. It's recording just to make sure. This is constant. It should not change. And because it's not changing, it needs to be an absolute reference. So I'm going to highlight this, right? Fn plus F4. If your laptop doesn't support it, no problem. Just put a dot to lock the column. We need to lock the column and row of this so that when we are replicating, do not lock only column because we are replicating for column and row. Take note. That's why you have to lock both the column and row. If you lock only the row, which is 19, right? It's simply saying that when we want to replicate the column wise, it will change. If you lock only the column, when we want to replicate the row wise, it will change. So we need to lock it. So this thing does not, everything here does not what? Change. Does that make sense? All right. So we have this. So I'll hit on enter. So now we can replicate it. So I'm going to replicate it like this. Now you see that it is multiplying arrow 5, right? Here, arrow 5. And this is still the same thing. Here, this is still the same thing. So I can just highlight it here, right? And then drag it down. Okay, drag it down one more. Good. So now you see that this one is what? This is I16, which is what you have here. This is what? M16 is what I have here. And they're all multiplying what? To this. All right. Replicate the formula for all other chains. Okay, no. Yeah. Replicate the formula for all other chain styles and sizes. So I've done that. Okay. For all other chain styles and sizes. So I've done that. Now the next one. Place in cell E31. E31, okay, this is the cost of metal. A replicable formula to calculate the cost of metal used to make each chain, okay. The cost of metal is the weight of the metal multiplied by the cost per ounce for that type of chain. Okay, for all other chain styles, okay. Now let's explain this. Now, the cost of metal is the weight of metal. Look at it. Weight of metal. The weight of metal by the cost per ounce. So while multiplying it by the what? The weight of metal by the cost per ounce for this type. So we want to know the cost of metal. We want to know the cost for each one here, right? So we want to know for silver, what's the cost? This is the cost here, right? So we need to know the cost. For this silver here, what's the cost with this? For this particular, what's the cost with this? For your gold, what's the cost with this? For your platinum, what's your cost with this? Does that make sense? Now, for us to be able to do that, for us to be able to know how to multiply this with this, right? We need to do a lookup. We need to do a lookup. Now, watch what I mean. Now, we need to now know, right, for each one here, right? Because what are we now using? Look at what they said. To multiply the cost of metal is the weight of metal multiplied by the cost per ounce. We want to now know the weight of metal, which is all this, right? Which is all this. So that when we have silver, this is it here. When we have gold, this is it here. So we have to do a lookup. So here, all the headings are not like this, they are like this. So what does that mean? That is what? Good. Can you see that? So if you look at it here, the headings are like this, not like this. So this is what? H lookup. So equals to H lookup. What will be the lookup value? The lookup value will be this one here. Okay, it will be this one here. Use this, the meta. Look at it, the meta. Okay, comma. What's the table array? This is the table array we want to work with. So I'm going to highlight this. Okay. What's the row index we want to return? This one here. We want to return this one. 2. And this is going to be what? An exact match. Now, look at what they said here. They said a replicable what? Formula. So we're going to replicate. And because we're going to replicate, we now need to make this an absolute. So it does not change when we are replicating. So I'm going to highlight this. Fn plus F4. Okay, we're not done. Now look at what they said. They said, so this is to get by the cost per ounce of getting this. We're now using what? The cost of metal is the weight of the metal. The weight of the metal multiplied by the cost per ounce. So we have, so at the beginning here, we have this multiply. Can you see that? This, because this is the weight of metal multiplied by the cost per ounce. I'm trying to translate it for you. By the cost per ounce. Because what issues we have is translating of the question. That's why we're doing this. Okay. So now let's hit on enter. So now we have that. So now, if you see this, we can now replicate. Because what will now be relative? This is relative. So this simply means that as we are replicating across, it is multiplying what? With this. Can you see that? So let's replicate. So I'm going to replicate here. Right? Do this here. Do this here. Okay. And I'm also going to replicate here. Let me do it here. Okay. Also going to replicate here. Done. Now it's giving me, okay. So I have an error. All right, that's fine. I have an error. So I want to know where the error is. Okay. So I have the error. Look at this is giving me, look at it. This is, look at it here. Can you see this? This is E2, F2. Okay. So all this is working well to what? To arrow 2, which is this. But here we are having what? E3. E3. Okay. So it is here in E2. So what we can do is we come here at the beginning here and make this an absolute. Sorry. So highlight this, Fn plus F4, right? So if I'm to do this and then I replicate, right? And I come here to replicate, can you see that? You see that it's showing arrow 2, right? It's going to stay in that row 2 because the columns are the same here. Look at it, the columns are the same here, right? The columns are the same here. So instead, but if you replicate, only if you make E constant, the row is going to change. So we're now saying that stick to only row 2, right? Stick to only what? Row 2. Come here. As for the lookup value, stick to what? Only this, but you can also change it. The columns can also change along with it. Because if we replicate, if we make all absolute, right? If we make all absolute, it's not going to replicate. It will only stay here. Let me show what I'm talking about. So if I put a dollar sign here, I want to explain this to you. And I replicate here. Watch what happens. You notice that the values are different because everything, the lookup value is going to be on only E2. But no, we want this to also change so that it can multiply what? Appropriately. We want this to also change so that it can multiply what? Appropriately. So that's why we locked the 2 so that it can replicate for the column, but the row remains what? The same. Does that make sense? Okay, so here I would remove this. That's why we are doing that. Okay, so if you log both of them, it's only going to multiply with only this one. So now I can replicate. Now you see that it's going to what? Arrow 2. So if I highlight this and then I replicate here, you will see that here, right? So you will now see that is going to what? The lookup value still remains what? Arrow 2, E2. But what is changing? The weight of method that we are multiplying with, right? This, right? The weight of method that what we are multiplying what with. Does that make sense? Okay. So now this is cost. Let's go back to say that the all currency value must be displayed in dollars to 2 decimal places. So this is cost. All currency value is cost. So I'm going to highlight it here. And then come here to numbers, currency, English United States, 2. So now we have it. Okay. So we have that. Okay, so I think this is probably the one that looks a little bit difficult. A lot, and you're like, okay, do you have a private tuition? Don't you have? Do you have? And yes, Ajiro Tech do have a private tuition. So by my right, you can see that we have for the EdExcel and Cambridge IGCSE, and yes, we do have for all subjects. Okay, all subjects. Okay, the popular ones that's always been in demand is mathematics, English language as a second language. Okay, we have physics, we have biology, we have chemistry, and we have um, you know the flagship, which is ICT, just here and there. We also have business studies. So if you're interested for a private tuition, um, I think all you have to do is send an email to the sales team at ajirotech@gmail.com, and they would reply to you, talk about your time zone, talk about, and the fee is really quite affordable. Really, it's really quite affordable. It's when you look at it across um, other tutoring service, I think this is the one that's quite affordable, and you get the very best of service. We also have for the E levels as well, um, and also for the EdExcel. So we have for the Cambridge E levels and EdExcel E levels. Okay, and we have also across the subject mathematics, which is usually the hot cake when it comes to E level mathematics and chemistry, and then biology. These are usually one of the ones we have in demand always, all the time. Even physics, for E level. So all you have to do, if you're watching this right now and you are interested for a private tuition, then you can do yourself a solid, okay, and send an email to the sales team at agile@gmail.com, and they'll reply to you. All right, place formulas in appropriate cells in column B. Column B, okay. To calculate the length of each chains, rounded down to the nearest centimeter. Now take note, 1 inch is equals to what? This in centimeters. So for each inch, what is going to be the centimeter? So this is going to be equals to this times what? 2.54. 2.54. Now look at what they said. They said rounded down to the nearest centimeter. Rounded, right? So rounded down. So that's going to be what? Round down. Round down, right? So the nearest centimeter is what? Is 0. Okay. So what are we doing? Okay. So we're going to replicate. Okay. In column B, so I can just copy this formula and copy and then paste formula. Yes, paste formula. Replicate. I'll copy, come here, paste formula. So I want to show you everything. I don't want to do control so you can see everything. Replicate. So this is done. Step 5. So this one is done. Hope you're having a good time. Let me know in the comment section if you're learning. Place in cell E4. Where's E4? Okay, E4. Okay. Let me see this. This is center, right? Did I do that? No. No, I did not. Let me see. No, I did not. So this is center as well. See? That's why we have to always check. How did I know the good here? And in fact, the good was the giveaway, and then the styles. Okay, so that's sorted. Okay. A formula that does not use the concatenate function. So place yourself E4, a formula that does not use the concatenate function to extract the first character. So we're not going to use concatenate to extract the first character, right, from cell E2 and concatenate it, not using the concatenate function with the styles for this item. With the style, look at it, with the style, take note, you see this here, it means it's a column with the style for this item. So we're concatenating to extract the first character to extract from cell E2. So we want to extract the first character. First character is just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's the character, right? All right. So of course you've done your data types, right? Character. So we want to extract, and now not using what the concatenate what function. So one way to extract is to use now the what we are extracting is the first character, right? So we can use the mid function and it's going to work, but you might lose mark because it's just the first character. If it's any character that is after the first, then we can use that. If it's the last one, we can also use the right to do that. But since it's the first one, we're going to use the left. So equals to left. Of course, take note, we can also use the right. Return numbers from the end of a text string. So the right is for the end of the text string, right? And then the left, right, returns number of characters from the start of the text string. The mid returns character from the middle, from any other part. That's where the mid works, from any other part. Okay, so take note of that. Hope you've learned that. All right, started here. So left. So I have this, right? E2, comma. What's the number of character? It's just one. They say, well, the first character is just one. So I have one here. Okay, so we have this. Can you see that? We have S. Now look at what they said. And concatenate it with the style for this item. So what concatenate it with the style for this item here. So we need to join it. To join it, we're going to use what we call an AND. We use an AND to join them. So we have this. So we hit on what? Enter. So we have this. Okay. So now we can replicate. Done. Okay. So that's your code. Apply appropriate formatting to the cells containing numeric values. Now, what is this, the cells containing numeric values? This is it here. All the values should be what? 3 decimal places. The currency should be what? This is it here. When they say apply, when they talk about this, apply appropriate formatting to the cells containing numeric values. I've explained this extensively for the IGCSE, right? Now for the A-level, I'm also going to do that. So it simply means that when they tell you something like this is what it means. That all currency value is to 2 decimal places and all the weight value must be displayed to 3 decimal places. So this is applying the appropriate formatting to the numeric values. Okay, so we're going to check. So these are 3 decimal places, and the cost here is what? 2 decimal places, which is what they want here. Okay, take note of that. Else you're going to lose this mark. Save your workbook. That I can do. All right. All right, so let's look at this. Add a new worksheet called user interface. So I'm going to copy it, user interface, to your workbook. So add a new worksheet. So here, I'll do a worksheet here. right click, rename, or come here to insert or format rather, and then you can rename the sheet. All right. Or you can just double click. So many ways to do it. And what do I do here? Right click, just paste, Ctrl V. Okay. So what do we do here? In the user interface worksheet, enter the following text and format it to look like this. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'll take a snipping tool of this so I can be I'm fast with this and just paste it here. No, I'm not going to use this. No, that's what I want to bring it here so that I can use it to work, right? So here I have what? The cost calculator. No, cost calculator. Okay. So for this, I have please select the chain code and required length using the drop down menus. Okay. For here is what? The chain code. And here is what? Length in centimeter. Hope I'm spelling it well. Centimeters. Okay. Then 7 is what? Meta selected. Weight of meta in grams. Cost of meta. Okay. What other information are they providing with us? Nothing. So let's do this. So notice that A1 to B1 is merged and center. Bold with a yellow background is black and the fonts were increased. And then what again? A1 to A2 to B2 was merged and center and wrapped. And this was again adjusted like this. Then adjusted like this. So wrap. So this is wrap. So bring it down. And what do you notice here? Italics and the 2 is down. So middle align. Required length. So take note. This here is what? Right. Okay. So I'll move it here a bit. Now look at it. You can see that. Look at the G here. Can you see that? So it's sans serif. So you need to take note of that. Sans serif, yes. To required length. Okay, required length using the drop down menus. Okay, I think I need to adjust it a bit. Okay, cost calculator. Okay, let me make it this. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think we have it. Okay, look at the 3. 3 was down. 11. Let me make it 14. Yeah, 14. Okay, and what do we have here? Is what? All right, it's bordered. Now look at the line. You can see how straight. There's no dotted. Unlike this other one, this one was dotted. Okay, let me see. Still like the same one. There's no need of putting border here, but you can put for this. Yeah. Okay, so I think let me just adjust this a bit. The space here, and this here as well. Okay, required length using the drop downs. I can take this up a bit. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we have this. Okay, so that's been done. Chain code, length in centimeters, meta selected, weight of meta in grams, cost of meta. So delete this. So I've done this. In cell B4 and B5, B4 and B5, create a drop-down menus to select the chain code and length. The chain code here and length and length. Okay, so come here to the chain code, a drop-down menu. So we're going to use data validation. So data validation, change it to list. So right here, come here, the chain code. Okay. So drop down, in cell drop down. So click on what? Okay. So now we have it here. Just going to make this center. All right. So now we have them here. Length in meters. So let me do that. Data, data validation. Change it to list. Come here. Length in meters. So this is it here. Let me see this. Sorry. Okay. All right. That's fine. Length in centimeters. Okay. So that's fine. All right. Click on OK. Oh, sorry. I've selected it before. So highlight it again. Yeah. So that's better. So we have that. I just want you to verify something. Okay. So now we have it here. Okay. Now, because all of them are looking the same, so it's fine. All of them are looking the same. They're all the same. All right. So this is done. In cell B7, use a function to look up the type of meta using the chain code. To look up the type of meta using the chain code. So I can use the X lookup. Look at it. To look, I want to know the type of meta using what the chain code. Now, we cannot use VLOOKUP here because this is what we want to look up. This is the return array. The return what? Array. Right? So VLOOKUP works from left, from the first. It does not allow backward reference. So it goes from the first to the last, from the left to the right, from the top to the bottom. It doesn't go either way. Right? So that's why we cannot use the VLOOKUP. Now, for students whose version of Excel does not allow XLOOKUP, I'll give you an alternative to what you can use. Now, if I change it, you'll see that this is for the XLOOKUP. So everything is working. Now, for students who don't have the XLOOKUP, you can use the index and match function. How do you do it? Let me show you. So equals to index. So what is the array, right, that you want to return? So the cost calculator here, I'm going to select this. Okay, this is what you want to return, comma. Then we have the match function, which is for the row. The match, what's the lookup value? This is the lookup value, comma. What's the lookup array? This is going to be what? The lookup array. and then we can close it and then close it. So this is going to give us exactly that as well. So if we change it here, okay, so there's an error here. Let me see. So we didn't add the exact match. I was wondering what was happening. Okay, good. Because we need to make it an exact match, right? We need to make it an exact match. So now if we change it, you can see that it's working, right? Everything is working. So let me just do it again. So you have index, come here, highlight this, and then the row number is the match function. The lookup value is going to be this, comma, lookup array is going to be the code here, and this is going to be what? An exact match. And then you close the other one. Yes. Okay, so now we have it. So now you can see that everything here is working, right? Everything here is working. So this is your best bet if you don't have an X lookup working for you. If you use the lookup function would not give you all the values available because we're working horizontally, which is a little bit tricky, right? Because it's horizontal. If it was vertical, the lookup value would have worked for you. But since it's horizontal, your your index and the match function would actually work for you because here you're selecting what you want to return, and then you're now looking for the row that has the lookup value here, and then you will have this sorted out. I hope that is clear. Okay, so you can use this, or you can go back to your XLOOKUP, whichever one that works for you. So the XLOOKUP is quite straightforward, right? But if you don't have it, there's a way around it. Okay, so you have this here. The return array, what are we returning? So we are returning this. Okay, so that's working. Okay, so hope you have been able to learn. All right, so in cell, so I've done this to look up the type of meta. In cell B8, use index and match function to display the weight of meta in grams for the selected chain code and length in centimeters. So what we want to do here is we're going to select what we want to return, and then we're going to look at it here. This here, look at it. This is the column, right? This is the column here. And this one here is going to be what? The row. Can you see that? We have the column here, and this is going to be what? The row. And this is in grams, not in ounces. It's going to be in grams, not in ounces. Okay? So now we have this. So we're going to use our index equals to index. So what's the array? Look how they said. They say what? To display the meta in grams. So the meta in grams. So it's going to be everything here that I want to return. Okay? Comma. My row index here, the row number here is going to be match. What's the lookup value? The lookup value is going to be the length in meters. Right? And then here in grams is this one and not any other one, because they say what? The weight of meta in grams. So even if you use other ones, okay, you're going to probably get, because of the number, but you get an reduction of mark because you're not using the right reference. So in grams, so I have this here, B18 to B29. This is going to be what? An exact match. Okay. Close it. Then my column index, I'm going to use a match. What's the lookup value? The lookup value is going to be what? Come here to my user interface. It's going to be the chain code, comma. What's the lookup array? lookup array is going to be this, which is my column here. Okay, so come here, and this is going to be what? An exact match. Okay, so I'll close this. This is to close this one, and then to close this one, and then I will hit on what? My enter. So now we have this, right? So we have this. So let's check for PC4, right? For PC4 50, PC4, okay, and in 50, we have 103.135. So that's correct. Now remember they said what? Our values is 3 decimal places. So I'm going to come here to numbers. I'm going to click on the settings here, numbers 3. So now you can see that is. So if we change it, let's change it again. So SD2, right? SD2, and I'll put here to 40. So let's look at it. SD2, okay, SD2 is here to 40. Can you see that? I'm holding my control to 40. What do we have? 46.436. Look at it, 46.436. So now it is working. Okay. All right. Now, so this is done. In cell B9, use index and match function to display the cost of metal for the codes and length selected from the drop-down menus. From the codes and length selected. So from the code and length, so we're going to do the same thing here. Okay. So we come here to what? Equals to what? Equals to the index. You are returning a value or reference of the what at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. Index. So we'll come here, cost of metal. So I'll highlight this. Okay. My row number, I'm going to use a match. What's the lookup value? The lookup value is going to be this, length in meters, comma, lookup array is going to be this, comma, is going to be an exact match, comma. The column, I'm going to use a match. Okay. What's the lookup value? The chain code, comma, lookup array, come here, highlight this, and this is going to be what? An exact match. Close it, and then another one to close the other one. Hit on what? Enter. So now we have this. Now for the costing meta, remember if you look at the question, you just under the formatting, they said what? Your currency should be what? 2 decimal places, right? If you've forgotten, it's right here. Look at it. 2 decimal places. Okay. Okay. So here, I'll click here. Number format, currency, dollars. So United States, 2 decimal places. So now if we look at it, SD, so let's change it. So let's see, let's change it. GC1 to what? 45, right? So GC1, hold my control to what? To what? 45. So look at what we have, $3,295.96. Okay, you can see that it's working, right? And here, if you look at it here, in 45, you have it as 49.243. So it's working. Okay. So this is done. Apply appropriate formatting to column B of this worksheet. So that's what we have done here. The values are 3 decimal places and the currency are what? A currency symbol and 2 decimal places. Okay, so that is done. Save your workbook. So I'm going to save my workbook. Okay. Now create a new word process document. Save this document in a rich text format. Okay, with the file name N24 evidence, followed by a center number. So I'm going to do that. I'll copy this. I'm going to open Word. Open it. Blank. File. Save as. Browse. Sorry, this PC. Browse. Let me look for it. Okay. 24 October, November. So I have this. Okay. So I'm going to paste this. And then I will do this. AN017 2025. Save as type is what? ROTF. The rich text format. Okay. So I have this. Right? Model this spreadsheet, placing screenshot of both the data entered and the result in your evidence document using the following data. So this is step 14. Step 14, evidence. Then enter. So what did they say? They said code is what? SE3. Code is SE3. Okay. The length is 63. The length is what? 63. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to take the screenshot. So I'll get my snipping tool. Snipping tool. New. Okay. Take a screenshot. Thank you. Come here and then paste it. Okay. So that's done. So I can just come here to bold it and increase it. All right. What else? So this will be step 14, evidence 1. Again, step 14, evidence 2. So what are we doing here? Code is GC2, GC2, length is 50, length is 50. And I'll take my screenshot. You can come here, click on new. Yeah, take a screenshot here. Nope, let me take it again. New. Or you can do your Windows Shift Windows S or Windows Shift F. I just want you to see it. So done. Come here. Paste it. Okay. What else? Change the price of gold to $1,900 per ounce. So change the price of gold to 1,900. So hit on enter. Model this spreadsheet with the chain code of GC2, which is this, and a chain length of what? 50. So now once you do that, and we come here, you see that automatically it's going to change, right? Because that's what the modeling is all about. is going to change. So we're going to take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I can just click on my print screen, still the same thing as your snipping tool, and then take a screenshot. Okay, so here is going to be what? Step what? What step is this? This is step 15. Evidence what? 3. Hit on enter and then paste. So this is going to be what? Bold. Increase it. What did I increase this one to? 14. So what I can do here is come here to my page layout. Under my page setup, your margin, you can make the top to be 1.5. So you can have enough space. Control A 1.5. Hit on enter. And this is what's the picture format. The shape width is make it 10. Make it 10. And this one here can be 10. It's already on one page. So I can just make them 11. I think 11 will be fine. Okay. Okay. So that is done. So I can come here to save it, file, save as. I can put it in PDF just in case, even if they told us to do that in RTF. So that is, it's been saved in rich text format and also in PDF. So we've been able to do this. So let me save my work. All right. So hope you have been able to learn how we can do our. I think one of the key things you've learned here is the index and the match function, which is very key, and how to be able to translate questions into mathematical expressions so that you can be able to carry out the task successfully. Thank you very much. The videos for the audio editing have been done. The link will be right here in this video description. Thank you very much. Please do well to share this video with your friends and with your classmates so they can learn. And I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.